Hello everybody, it is I, You2Cool, back again, and today I'm going to be taking a look at Harvey from Planes, Fire, and Rescue. This has been an item I've been wanting for such a long time now. Okay, for a bit of context, back in 2023, I managed to get Winnie and Lenticular Clawed Scrugs for about $24. And I consider that one of my greatest achievements in the cars collecting era of my life. Just because not only is it an RV, one of the most sought after things in the Cars/Planes diecast line, since there are a couple RVs from Planes. Actually, both of these are the only RVs from Planes, unfortunately. There were quite a few in the movies, but these two are the only ones that have diecast. Anyways, so yeah, Winnie was my first ever RV and was a Planes item, so that's a double whammy. And of course, like many collectors, I wanted more RVs because the RVs in the Cars diecast line are genuinely like some of the best items Mattel has ever made. They're all such unique designs from each other. You know, no two RVs share the same model. They all just have such interesting designs with the sort of stripe patterns on the side and this sort of textured side panel here. It's just, they're all just so well detailed. Unfortunately, however, a lot of the RVs in the Cars diecast line, because they're such great items, such highly sought-after items, they tend to be pretty expensive, to the point where it's just really hard to save up money to get any. And Harvey was unfortunately one of those items. He was really expensive, and I just never thought I could get him. I stupidly passed on one for $14, but as you can see, I got him now thanks to my friend, McQueen's biggest fan. Go check out his YouTube channel. Guy's awesome. So yeah, now I finally have Harvey, who I wanted. Originally, it was either him or Larry Camper, who I think Larry or Elvis might be my favorite RV. It honestly always flip-flops, because again, all the RVs have such, you know, fun, unique things about themselves. So, like, any of them could really be my favorite, because I think all of them are distinct, except for, like, one of the Convoy brothers. No, I'm kidding. All of them are really great. But yeah, I ended up settling on Harvey because we found a pretty cheap one. He helped me get it. And it also mattered a lot more to me because, well, like Winnie, Harvey is a Planes diecast, meaning unlike, say, Larry Camper, who theoretically could get re-released. Granted, he'd be downscaled, but at least he could get re-released. Whereas Harvey, if I don't get Harvey now, that's never going to happen. So that's why I really wanted to get Harvey as soon as possible. And again, unfortunately, it took me a few years, but I have finally reunited this happy couple of Harvey and Winnie. So like I said, they appear in Planes, Fire, and Rescue. Harvey has a really cool design. It's very similar to some other RVs we've seen. Most recently, Clutch Humboldt has a similar design to this. He's very cubic, except for this little wedge cutout over here. So yeah, very interesting. I think Harvey and Winnie are very good, just baseline RVs. I love that these are regular RVs that like have no piston cup. Sort of, because most of the RVs in the Cars series are Piston Cup fans. And of course, the ones we got as diecast are all the Piston Cup fan ones. We don't really have just like a standard blank RV. I know there's Bud, who doesn't have any like flags or anything. And is probably the closest thing we have to just a nice generic RV. But these are like completely non-related to the Piston Cup, which I really love. So Harvey was specifically released in the 2016 Planes diecast line, aka the Planes diecast line's finale. A really big shame, but I think the end of the Planes diecast line is best described as bittersweet, because while it really sucks the items that were canceled, the ones that made it out are still like some of the most creative and just fun items Mattel has ever made. I will genuinely say that I think the entirety of the Planes 2016 diecast line trumps everything we've gotten. Well, actually, no. I was going to say everything we got in the last 3 years, because ever since 2023, we've been getting less and less. But that's not entirely true. There's always like good items out there. Just Planes 2016 has some of the most creative items, right? That was the year they gave us Zed Custard, um, Kate the Corn Cob Girl, just so many just like fun items. Most of those are from Planes too, because I think 2015 was the Planes 1 centric year. So that was like Pack Rat, Tysonitis, Falco, who's an absolute legend. We'll hope to get him soon. But yeah, 2016 was a very good year for the Planes diecast line. Just really sucks that it didn't continue one more year. Like, it had just continued one more year, and we'd just gotten, like, all the cars that were planned for 2016, but scrapped. And that's how the Planes ended. I think I would be content with that. Even if they ended up being, like, super rare. Like, if Chuck Shocks was, like, $82, at least he would still be out there. But sadly, we don't live in that timeline. All this rambling, and I haven't really covered Harvey himself beyond the basics of him being an RV. He's in pretty good condition. The only major chippage being on the sides, I believe. I don't believe this is intentional detailing. I believe this is just the item being worn, but I don't really mind. It's a nice matte finish, which makes sense for an RV. Not supposed to be all shiny. My favorite detail about Harvey is that his windshield is designed to look like glasses. I believe that's the case on Winnie as well. Actually, no, I don't think Winnie is supposed to have glasses. It just kind of looks like it because the little black parts are 3D molded on here. I don't think that's the case for any other RV. But yeah, they of course are looking at each other. I really appreciate that. They look good on their own, but next to each other, they look really great. They're not super relevant to Planes Fire and Rescue, but I really like them. I think what they symbolize in Planes Fire and Rescue is that they are, just civilians, but like Dusty has a night hangout with them when he goes to the fuselage alongside the rest of the Piston Peak Air Attack members. I haven't brought them out because this was kind of thrown together. I just immediately had to review Harvey. I actually have to review Cars 3 Mac in a little bit. I think I'll upload that video first, but and so I like that there are two people that Dusty knows personally that he's like, wow, I don't want to get hurt, and that's what sort of motivates him to keep going, even despite his worn out, gearbox. I think that's really cool that they showed just like how important civilians are to firefighters, because Planes 2 is a loving tribute to all the firefighters, and I really like that. He has nice white sclera. Unfortunately, my Winnie has gotten a bit yellowed since I got her back in 2023. I initially considered replacing or painting the eyes or something, but it's not that bad. I guess it helps with the whole old person look that they're going for here. Speaking of, I like that the top looks like hair. Kind of makes him look like Walter White at like the beginning of Breaking Bad. Does anyone get that? Is that just me looking at that there? Oh, wait, did I say he looks like Convoy Brother K? Because I believe Convoy Brother K is another character with a similar design to Harvey, although I believe he's a bit wider and shorter. I'm not entirely sure. So there are his wheels. I believe his sides are identical, which is a bit odd. You'd think one would have the... I guess that makes sense, because RVs would need, like, two accesses to fuel for what they are. And then over here is another really great detail. Unfortunately, again, the black marks and the chips. I do not believe that these are part of the actual car. I believe that's just this item being used, but got it for a decent price. Well, not really, because my friend helped me get it, but you know what I mean. Cheaper than most Harveys were going for. He's going for like 82 in box now, so it's like, ugh. So anyways, there is the back, the iconic US of A. So there's a plot point that is mentioned by Harvey and Winnie where they've been traveling to every single place. In real life, a lot of campers do something similar to this where they have the USA and they fill out the different states that they've visited. And that's what Harvey and Winnie do there. That's really cool. I think that was also part of a canceled RV. I believe his name was Clayton Gentlebreeze. I could be wrong, though. I know there's a similar RV in the first Cars movie that has, like, that exact same map just tattooed on the side. I think that's really cool. Really stinks that we never got that one, though. That would have been a really good release in, like, 2016 or something, but again, we're not really getting RVs anymore. I want to like quickly see like here's just Francesco Bernoulli's card back. I want to see like how big, like how much would an RV have to be downscaled in order to be re-released. So Harvey's a bit taller than Winnie. Of course, his name is a double pun. No, just a pun on RV, but Harvey because it sounds like it. I guess you could theoretically re-release RVs because they're not that big, but they're still like kind of wide and stuff. So I think that's what's the hold up from its hell is that, yeah. Here's hoping that one day we do see the RVs back, ideally in their deluxe forms, but if not, I'm not as mad. Something else about Harvey and Winnie is they actually have different air ventilations, which I like because they are, of course, different models, but they have a similar sort of setup. So it really shows how connected they are, that they're very similar, but also, you know, different. I'm also going to compare them to CAD Spinner, another vehicle, which is a road vehicle. I think all the road vehicles in Planeswire and Rescue are peak. Piston peak, one might say. If Harvey is my last RV ever during my time collecting, because I am slowly thinking of more and more like slowing down on collecting. Not fully. I don't think I'm ever just going to stop because there are always going to be cars diecast out there that are just super cool, but you know, I have a lot of those already. There aren't too many that are left out there for me to really go, yeah, I want to spend my money on that. But what I'm basically getting at is if Mattel never re-releases the RVs and these are all I have, I'm content. I'm just happy to finally have these two characters together. It was so distracting having just Winnie for years. So yeah, that's all I have to really say about Harvey. And I guess the Planes line. I hope to get more Planes diecast, but again, they're getting pretty expensive now, so if this is one of my last Planes items, then it's been an honor collecting these. These are genuinely super cool. Really wish I'd gotten these when I was a kid, but you win some, you lose some. Anyways, that's all I have for today. Hope you all enjoyed the review, and I shall see you all around. Bye-bye!